love it.
It's clean, right?
It's really clean and spacious.
Yeah, I get you.
But yeah,
That's before prayer.
Do you guys do shoes off in the church? No shoes on.
We just come with our shoes.
I think I also told you that someone that I know is Christian and Muslim.
I mean that he doesn't want you to follow anything.
Yeah.
He was like, you know what? That's not what Jesus
that's
wants.
not it.
He wants you to just do whatever you want. That's fine. Paul changed everything, bro. Like what?
No, we're not having it.
Who does he think he is? Okay, so here I am, the mosque. I'm already feeling emotional because I haven't been here in so long, since Khadija's been born, actually, subhanAllah. So I'm going to be showing my friend around. I'm really nervous because I'm always worried about the impression that I'll give as a Muslim, obviously, and just how the mosque is going to be for her. So this is actually the first mosque I came to the UK. So when I came back from Turkey, I was still not Muslim yet. I was still just learning about Islam. This was the first mosque I came to in the UK. So inshallah, I really hope that she feels the same way. And I'm going to be answering questions with her as well, inshallah. What are you thinking?
Lovely, I love it.
It's clean, right?
It's really clean and spacious.
Yeah, spacious. So originally, I don't know if this is true, but I think this area people would have been studying and stuff.
Oh,
I picture it historically people would have been studying here, and then they go in there to pray. And here's the thing, you can't believe it's in London, right?
I know, I could not believe it. Honestly, it's really beautiful, and just even the way the building is structured, everything is so nice.
We're in Dubai right now.
No, we are. You guys are missing out.
The weather. You ready to see something really cool?
Yes.
This is the wudu. This is for the washing. Do you want to give it a go?
All right. I can wash my hands.
That's proper, you're doing it the proper way, mashallah. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. There's half a wudu. Normally we would do the hands, the face, ears, the mouth, the nose, the head, the wrist to the elbows, feet, including ankles. I think I said it in the wrong order.
But yeah, I get you.
But yeah,
that's before prayer.
Every single breath.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's like a way of purifying. I mean, I personally I love that. And remember, I showed you that in the Bible, even Jesus used to do, right?
Yeah, it's cleanliness is next to godliness. So that makes sense to be clean before you pray.
And I feel it just helps you get in the mindset of where you're going to be.
Do you guys do shoes off in the church?
No shoes on.
We just come with our shoes.
What if it's dog poo on your shoe or something?
What'd you say? There's what?
Or dog poo.
They accept you. They accept all.
Because the thing is, we put our heads on the carpet, you know.
Because with us, it's more when we're in the church, in the the congregation praying.
Yeah.
That's it. You can choose to do whatever you want. If you want to stand up and pray, some people kneel down.
Oh, they do that.
Some people if they're really in the moment, they'll go to the front, kneel down, get down on their knees. Some people dance. Everyone's got their own thing of praying.
Okay, let's try it. So you see these free Quran, well, they're not free Qurans. You see the Quran, it's upside down, by the way.
What is it?
When I was a non-Muslim and I come here, one of the sisters said to me, take one. I was like, I can't take one. This is the mosque. She was like, no, take it. And I swear, the Quran that I still read today is the Quran that I picked up from here and that I took home with me.
See, she was telling you something. Take that.
I know.
And that's the Quran that you've still got to this day.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
5 years ago. how would you compare that to a church? And from when I first went in, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is really like peaceful. Like no one
Yeah.
really speaks. If they do, they speak in a very low voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas obviously church is like a different vibe
Yeah.
altogether, which I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's
The
different vibes.
differences, exactly.
How did you feel being in that kind of vibe?
Yeah, it was very zen.
Mm.
It was very peaceful, and it's like I felt like this is time to just be very obedient as well.
Interesting.
And yeah, like when we had to even place our shoes away, it's like it just made me feel like in this situation we've got a job to do.
Mm.
Yeah, like, oh, this is prayer time, like totally, like, how can I explain, like, this is just for prayer.
Mhm.
That's what it felt like, okay, this is the time that I've got between me and God. That's what it felt like. And when I compare it to a church, although you still have your prayer time, there's like you said, there's a different vibe. It's more dependent on the church you go to, but the churches I've been to, it's more like, okay, we're going to praise and worship now.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're incorporating the two. So, and then we'll have our time where we'll sing to God. Then we'll have our moment with God, but there's still like a lot of noise going on, even though there's silence. Yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah, I enjoyed that though. It's good.
Yeah, it's interesting,
Yeah.
right? I always feel like the whole vibe, from everything to the carpets and everything,
Yeah.
everything just feels so different. Like I know when I used to go in church in the UK,
Yeah.
they're always so cold because the way they're
Yeah.
made, like
Yeah,
with the hard, with the hard, like with the hard
yeah.
floors and everything.
Yeah, the Baptist church.
I guess that's what it
Yeah,
is.
see, because I've come from like the Pentecostal church, you're gonna feel like you're going to a party. Yeah, there's a vibe.
Oh, it's that
yeah,
kind
there's
of
so it's like there's an enjoyment. It's like it's like, you know, when you're showing out for God. That's the kind of thing that they do there.
Okay, so it's like more of a gospel type church.
Yeah, so these Pentecostal churches, sometimes they bring some of their cultures from like back home in Africa, depending what part of Africa they're from, and bring that vibe from over there to here. So when they do the praise and worship, there's like an African element of us dancing and just doing a lot, just showing God that we are so happy and this is how we want to praise you, basically. Yeah.
See, the culture is nice. But I do definitely think that like you said the word obedience, and that was
Yeah.
really interesting to me
Yeah.
because I do feel like it is a solo connection.
Yeah.
And the community stuff is really nice, and we have an emphasis on community in our religion as well. But I do really feel like if you're able to like really, it's more like a soul connection.
Yeah.
And if you're able to like take that time to breathe from the busy modern day
Yeah.
London life, which is
No,
just
it's hectic, isn't it?
it's like this modern day is just crazy.
It is.
I know when I went here for the first time, and I was just so shocked at just the fact that I could actually just find like space and peace.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And that I could just sit there. And I mean, our visit was so brief. But, you know, if you're by yourself, you could easily just sit there and you could just read and you could
Exactly.
chill. And you saw how friendly the other sisters
Yeah,
were. And you
so
could just, you could,
nice.
you know, chat for a bit, but it would be like a quiet chat and
Yeah.
then you can go back to your seclusion kind of thing. It is very much like trying to reconnect the heart.
Yeah.
And a lot of our religion is about connecting the heart. And when you said obedience, you know, that's what Islam means. Like salam means submitting.
Oh, so that
So a lot of
definitely
our
makes
religion
sense,
is about submitting to God's will. And I think a lot of people can feel very triggered by that. They're like, okay, like why should I submit? Why should I submit to a God? But here's the thing about us is we're all slaves to something, whether it's money, whether it's fame, we're all slaves to something in this world. And if it's not directed in a place that's actually going to fulfill us, then we end up feeling lost and confused. So this is why I always found like having God in my life and having Islam and submitting actually helped me find more peace. And then I could break the shackles of all the other other things I was a slave to. And now I have my relationship with God.
Yeah, and let's see what you said there, relationship with God. I feel like that's the most important thing, even when it does come to religion. I feel like your relationship with God is number one. Because some people do everything where they're doing like this sort of show, like, oh, I go to church, I go to the mosque just to say it. But what are you doing at home? Are you praying to him? Are you like reciting the word, whatever the word looks like for whoever? But those are the important things.
That's so interesting. How did it feel praying?
It felt good. I think, like I was saying to you, like it brought back memories, honestly, like just me and my grandmom and my sister at the time just doing the prayer and then the mass that we got out, and I just felt like it just took me back to that place, that moment, and I felt at peace praying and just like putting my head down on the floor. Because even Christians, we do that sometimes at home when we really want to like surrender to God and like tell him like, God, forgive me, I need you. We'll put our head down on the floor, like help me, and even just to show appreciation and gratitude. So yeah, no, it was a good moment. I enjoyed that.
So your grandma became Muslim.
Yeah.
But was her mum Muslim?
Yeah, both her parents were
Okay,
Muslims.
I see.
Yeah.
So you have like a Muslim lineage,
Yeah.
and then it changed. Do you know
Then
what
it
happened?
I think my grandmom at the time just thought, let me change religion. I don't know fully, but I think she thought, okay, let me go down the Christianity route. But then she came back to Islam anyway.
Okay, she was born a Muslim,
born a
went down
Muslim.
Christianity route, and then came back.
come back. So she did a full circle. And my mum's a Christian,
Okay.
and my dad's a Christian as well. So yeah, were brought up Christians.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't have like the usual, kind of Christianity forced upon you then, because it was a choice from your grandma.
Yeah.
Because I do know that in a lot of African countries, you can study into this. Christianity came through colonization. Like, for example, for Ghana, it was the Portuguese, and a lot of it was forced onto the slaves.
Yeah. I mean,
Which, actually, I was listening to a revert story recently of a brother, and he was saying that when he found out that his family had become Christian through like being forced, which is not happened in your case, but I'm just saying this is what happened in his case, through being forced like in history through the slave trade. He was like, no, I want to like look into religion now, because there is Islam is also in Ghana, and that actually came through peaceful trade. So like there was a lot of peaceful trade, and there was a lot of Abyssinians, which were like during the Prophet's time.
yeah.
These were the black people. They were the Abyssinians, and there was a lot of them became Muslim. Because Prophet Muhammad, like I said before, he came and he said, no white is superior to a black, no black is superior to a white. This was his final message to the world. There's a lot in our religion that tackles racism. So a lot of people became Muslim because of that.
Yeah.
And look at Malcolm X. Why did Malcolm X become Muslim? Because he looked at all the religions, and he found that Islam was the only religion that was actually tackling racism.
Which is important. Like, that needs to be tackled. Like, racism is a big thing. So yeah, no, that makes sense. And I feel like even with my case in terms of like Christianity, because I like I told you, I grew up in the church. It was one of those things that like when you're a child, you just kind of go into that. And like I think also my mum, she did practice Islam for a bit, but then came back to Christianity. Yeah, so it's one of those things. But then I hear it a lot. I think I had to tell you that some people, like a lot of people I knew, grew up Christian and then they convert to Islam. So I think it's just about doing what you think is best for you. Like some people think Christianity is best for them, some people think Islam is, and I think I also told you that someone that I know is Christian and Muslim.
So here's the interesting thing is I completely get your point of view.
Yeah.
And like that makes a lot of sense to me. But here's another thing that I think when I thought about this, I was like, okay, so there's God.
Yeah.
And lots of different religions have a different interpretation of what God is.
Yeah.
But God is only one of them. Just because some person says that God is this doesn't make him God that thing. Like for example, someone says Abs is from Spain. Someone says Abs is from UK. Someone says Abs is from Ghana. Only one of them is right.
Exactly.
Right? Just because other people are saying different things doesn't make you that thing. Doesn't mean you're from Spain just because someone says you're from Spain. So all these different religions are saying different things about God, very specific things about God. Only one of them is actually what God is. So I know it's very controversial to say, and people don't like to hear it, but it's true. Only one of them is actually.
So what one do you think is the correct one?
Islam.
Islam, definitely. I have to just make sure.
As somebody who's went through like pretty much all the religions, apart from Judaism, you can't convert to Judaism. Like you're not allowed to. Like their whole tradition is based on the fact you have to be born a Jew to be saved. If you're not born a Jew, then you're going to hell. Like where's the fairness in that?
I know. This is why sometimes, like honestly, religion is a lot for me to like deal with, because that's why I said this before. I just say I'm a believer because I know the Most High, there's no confusion, because I feel like in religion there's always something that I might not agree with, and I'm like I have to question it, and I'm not too happy about what it's saying here. So I feel like as long as you believe there's a God, that's even the starting point. If you're an atheist, that's
atheism is like a new thing. It's like a new
It's
thing.
just
It's really like and so like believing in God is very important.
Yeah,
it's very important. But do you think that God has sent us revelation, or do you think he's just stayed out of it?
this is the thing. I think God has, but then it's one of those things. I feel like you have to do your digging, you have to do your research, there needs to be a connection with God before you even make certain choices. And I feel like if you are religious, you have to be fully into it or not. That's why I'm not too sure about this, or whatever. So even the Christian title, sometimes I won't even say it because I'm not fully committed into that religion. And that's the thing. I feel like for me personally, religion feels like there's so much pressure, and I don't want that pressure. I just want to be at peace and not feel judged, or feel like if I'm not doing this and it says this in the Bible, I shouldn't feel bad about it. And that's the thing. I feel like God is peace and love, but this is where sometimes religion, depending like where your place of prayer is or whatever, or the pastor you've got or whatever it is, they can sometimes make you feel a bit confused and lost in the process, because you're like, but you said this, but then you guys are doing this, and then I get confused, and it's a lot to kind of deal with. So I hope that answers your question.
I get what you're saying. I think you're referring, when you say fully committed, you're not referring in fully committed in terms of believing in God, you're referring to fully committed in terms of following the laws, right?
Yeah, and I feel like the whole lifestyle, everything of it, everything, definitely,
See, like, I think from an Islamic point of view, being fully committed would actually be the Shahada, which is what you say when you become Muslim, and that's believing in one God, and believing Prophet Muhammad was a messenger of God. That's fully committing. And then when you go down that journey, people naturally want to follow the rules. But it's not something that you should like be worried about straight away. Like when I first became Muslim, I wasn't like, oh my God, I'm going to put hijab on, I'm going to stop wearing tight clothes. That was not my intention. Like, it's a phase, right? I mean, it's not a phase, it's a journey.
It's a journey, exactly,
So it happens over a period of time.
It's true.
And we're told that iman, so like our belief goes up and down. And we're not supposed to feel bad about that. We're actually told in our religion that repentance is really important. I think that's the same in Christianity. Repentance is really important. And God even tells us that if we didn't sin, he would replace us with people that sin. Because he wants us to sin and repent. Because that's submitting, right? That's saying, like, you know what, God, like, what you has commanded for me is better than my own whims and desires.
Definitely.
And if God has sent down revelation, which is what I genuinely believe, and I feel like it's the most common sense argument, because why would God create all of this if he's not made it for a purpose?
There's a reason for it.
And then why would he just leave us to get on with it? If like he would give us some kind of manual, like even foes come with a manual, let alone human beings. We're way more complex than a foe. So I do genuinely believe that he would send a manual, and I do believe that he would send a manual for you, a human. Because if you send it through anything else, you're going to have problems like an angel. So I do believe in that. And I do think that the Quran, out of all the scriptures of the major world religions, is the only one that's preserved. Here's some criteria that a book needs to fit, right? It needs to claim it's from God in order. It needs to be preserved, because God's not going to send you something that's been changed, because like I said before, you can't have human word in with God's word. And it has to have no contradictions, and has to have some kind of proof in it, like in terms of predicting the future or some kind of scientific miracles, things like that, to show that it's from God. And these are, out of all the major world religions, Islam is the only one that fits these. That's why I became Muslim. Because
you said you practice other religions.
I was Christian, I was Hindu.
How did that? How was it?
I mean, Hindus say like that the earth is held up by a bull with two horns, so it's like there's a lot of like weird stuff in there. That's what I mean. You go, but you know what?
You've got to do what works for you, innit?
So that's why I genuinely believe the Quran is from God. And then once you like establish that, once you establish it's from God, you then will realize that everything's God said for a purpose. So then you start thinking to yourself, okay, these are specific laws that maybe are not attractive to me, but are ultimately better for me. And as someone who's been through that journey, I can honestly say that they are. The things like, I don't know where you are in your life with these certain things, but things like no drinking, like it's genuinely better for you. And even scientists now are saying people who even have a tiny bit of alcohol, it's affecting them.
Come on, it's true.
So like things like not drinking, not gambling, all the things that Islam came to preserve, family structures, everything, I do genuinely believe are really important. And I think once you go down that route of letting go and realizing that everyone sees the world through a certain lens.
I do.
And you may not realize what that lens is because you've been brought up with that lens. So like in UK, that will be like secularism, modernity, like all these types of things. You don't know it, but that's what you're looking at.
That's true.
There are certain things in you that actually you don't agree with, but you've just done because that's been normal for you. And once you start weeding those things out, then you start realizing that actually, genuinely, my experience, a lot of people who become Muslim experience, what Allah has commanded is actually good. Like, I dress like this, not because I'm trying to be like over the top, but because I'm trying to fight the hypersexualization culture. And I do believe in like defending women, and my way of defending women is saying we are not there for men's pleasure. Like, we have our brains, we have our lives, like we are not there for you to look at us and just be like,
There's more
okay,
to us,
yeah. And this is my way of showing it.
Yeah, and that, even what you're saying about the way you dress in certain churches, I think is 7-day Adventist. Some of them you're not allowed to wear trousers. You can't show your figure.
Yeah.
As when you've got to dress like presentable. So I think there are some like similarities in Islam and Christianity. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there definitely is.
I mean, like Mary used to wear a headscarf.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Like, this was the culture,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, like you guys actually followed pretty much all a lot of the rules that we followed until Paul. I don't know. I remember talking about Paul. Paul came along and was like, you know what? Even though Jesus says in the Bible that he came to preserve the rules, like for you to follow the rules, Paul said, you know what? Jesus didn't mean that. He doesn't want you to follow anything. He was like, you know what? That's not what Jesus wants. He wants you to just do whatever you want. That's fine. Paul changed everything, bro. Like, what?
No, we're not having it.
Who does he think he is?
But this is the thing I think is good, especially like when you get to a certain age and you feel like, you know what, let me get to know about other religions. Let me find myself. Let me see what works for me. And I think it's important to explore that. But some, like as a Christian myself or believer, whatever you want to call me, or whatever I want to call myself, some might say, oh, you shouldn't be doing this because this is how you was raised, or this, this is what it says in the Bible. But this, like you said, journey. This is my journey. I can explore whatever I want, and no one should say anything. I think people should just focus on their own life and what works for them. Yeah, definitely.
You know what? I said this recently, and I think we'll finish this soon. Is I did say to somebody recently when they were like, I was having a conversation, and I said that sometimes when we're like, just because someone's born into religion. It doesn't mean it's the right religion, and that's for everyone. That's for Muslims need to look into their religion. That's for Christians need to look into their. Everyone needs to look into the religion they were born into, because it takes a certain arrogance to think that God chose you. God chose you to be born into that family, into that religion. Exactly. It's like, okay, no, God is testing us. We need to go on our journey. We need to find out what the correct path is. So yeah, there are certain people that will just defend their religion. This is definitely not you, by the way. They would just defend their religion because they were born into that religion. And they're like, okay, well, I was born into it, therefore it's correct. It's like, what about that person that's born into a different religion?
Exactly.
You need to do your research, know about the religions.
Before you can even fight for it, kind of thing. Yeah, and that's
and I do genuinely believe when you learn about all the religions, you should learn with an open mind. And that's what I did before I became Muslim, right? Is I looked with an open, and I had like a very sort of Islamophobic scope of, I believe that like men were wife beaters and all this kind of stuff. I had like a very bad image in my head. And I had to fight through all that because I was searching for the truth. And it took me a while. I mean, I was in India practicing Hinduism. I was doing all sorts of stuff. I was Hare Krishna at one point. But subhanAllah, this is where...
you found your space in it, your place. This is where it's meant to be for you.
But thank you guys for watching. Assalamu alaikum.